Welcome to another edition of Inked Up Runner. This is Jason, and I am here with Cary Long. Cary is a veteran ultra runner. He has ran probably three times as many races as I have. Done all sorts of cool stuff. Pretty heavily active just overall in the running community. Um, I don't even think we realized it, but I think him and I shared miles together at Mountain Mist this past January. He was with me literally right before I DNF'd, I think, and I don't think he probably even remembers it because it was probably such a blur for how he passed me in that moment. So, but thank you for being here, Cary, and talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Glad to be here. So first of all, at what point did you DNF?
22.
I quit at 22.
I quit at 22.
So yeah, I was done when the lady in the alpine ski jumpsuit passed me. I thought it's time to quit, and I'm sure you remember seeing her come by, right?
Yeah, she did. I remember when she passed me. So a lot of people's heard the story, and I'm sure they're tired of hearing the story. But I got some severe crotch chafing, and was stupid and forgot my body glide. And so,
I have a remedy for that.
yeah, what's that?
Maxi pads.
Max. You know what? That's so funny because somebody else told me that. That works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's only two men on the history of Earth that have used maxi pads, and I thought I invented it, but I found out from crap, California man. I'm just losing my mind for a second. But one of your Tennessee guys, Naresh Kumar, that he discovered the effectiveness of the maxi pad on the twig and berries. And it
Really?
was during my Vol State run on day 3. Man, I had my taint meat was like country fried steak, man. It was mangled. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, what am I going to do about this? And so I took an extra sock and I stuffed it down there. That didn't do it. And I just sat there and thought for a minute, what can I do? And went into this gas station, this little podunk town. And I think I was in Parsons maybe. And I said to the young lady, I know this is going to sound weird, but do you have any maxi pads? And she had some maxi pads. And so for the next 4 days, I wore maxi pads with Desitin on them. And my junk healed up. It was amazing during that run.
So are you using the super pad or are you using the ultra light pad? What is your pad of choice? I mean, what
No,
is your brand of
no,
choice?
I had the ones with the wings, and I wasn't really sure what to do with the wings.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, no pun intended, winged it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing those those undershorts, with the man pouch, except for
Yes,
me, I'm
Saks,
not as
Saks.
manly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other brand, the Joey pouch ones, but there's no place for the wings to go. So but man, you squirt some Desitin on that thing, slap it down there, and I pulled them shorts up, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And then I maybe day 4, day 5, I was in the early morning in Hardy's bathroom, me and a few of the ladies and everything, and that fell out on the floor, and I wasn't going to pick it up. So somebody probably was surprised in the men's bathroom that morning in maybe Columbia, I think that's where I was. But yeah, it so a pad of choice always, always
Always.
pads.
Always is always the pad of choice, no pun intended.
It is good, and I'm gonna tell you something else. The Body Glide doesn't work. Get you some Boudreaux's butt paste, Desitin, or Bag Balm. You can get it at Walgreens, CSB, and all that.
Yeah,
Bag Balm.
I normally use the squirrel's nut butter, but this time I'd
That's
had
good.
I brought one of those friction sticks and I used it and I
What?
put The Gold Bond friction sticks.
Well, with the way you're shaking your hand, I didn't know what you was talking about
Yeah.
there.
So
Okay.
I put it on nice and heavy.
Okay.
And you know how cold it was. And I was talking to Ryan Anderson, and he was saying he was surprised that I got that chafed, but I got chafed really fast. But the problem was, the real culprit of the story was, I did the one thing that you're not supposed to do. I tried out new running gear that I'd never used before. I bought a new pair of North Face running tights, dropped a crisp Ben Franklin
Hmm.
on it, thinking that it was
Hmm.
going to keep me warm. And I had a great race all the way up to about mile 13, and then after that, the whole thing just fell apart for me. But now I know to keep an always winged
Maxi pad. So
maxi
you're
pad.
telling me you had nothing on under those North Face
No,
tights?
I did. I had the Gold Bond friction.
I'm talking
Um,
about like no sacks or
mm-mm.
Joe. You had tights to twig and berries. That was it.
That's the way I always run in it. Always. I have a pair.
Man,
Look, true story. I have a pair of Walmart running tights that are amazing. I can't use them anymore, so they got a hole in them. But I normally wear those completely commando underneath it, just slathered up, never have a problem. I've been running for this 2022. I've been running for almost 8 years now. I've never had that problem before. And it goes to show you that you can spend all the money in the world, but sometimes the best item is the old
well, that's
Walmart
true.
Sam Walton special. So
All it takes is that one seam to leave a scar down there.
that's exactly what it was too, because those North Face actually had a seam that just went straight like down the middle there, and this hit you just right. So
Mhm.
it was definitely an experience. But I actually, what's funny was, I actually remember you. We were right around together. I think we probably quit around the same time. I think somehow I may have jumped in front of you at some point. I'm not real sure, but I know that I got there and I wasn't in good shape. And there was some lady working the aid station there, and she asked me what was wrong, and I told her what was wrong. And she just looked at me and basically and asked her if I could get a ride to the finish line, and she told me that I'd have to wait, and I was hurting pretty bad. And some older gentleman overheard the situation and realized the gravity of the situation, and was nice enough to drive me back to the finish line so that I could get remedied up. But anyway, it's funny. It's funny how you have you indirectly meet people and don't even realize you meet them, because that's just way ultra running is, right? I mean,
Well,
you
the closest friends that I have now, I met on the trails or on some run, across Tennessee, uh, some in Georgia, Birmingham, Huntsville. Everybody that I hang out with right now, I met on the trails. And it's amazing, the types of relationships. And most of the time it's because, honestly, Scott Bell will tell you that I farted on them and we became friends, and or you know pooped in the woods next to you and we became friends,
Mhm.
or I saw you as a lady doing that in the woods and we became friends. So it's just amazing the people that you meet on the trails. I remember meeting, I mean, just about anybody out there. I met Jeff Dean. I met all the Tennessee runners out in the woods. And what I love about ultra running and what it has done is you can be the janitor in a school and you can run with the CEO of a company and everything's equal footing. Your status on your job means nothing. It's about being out there, and I've seen some amazing relationships develop from that, and so I'm thankful for it. I'm sucking right now at it, but again, every friendship that I've made, if I never ran another step, we would still continue to be friends. And there's
That's
a group of
awesome.
us guys called the Trail Donkeys, and somehow I got grafted into that. We went to the Grand Canyon this year. We did rim to rim to rim. We've done some Tennessee runs. We're planning something big for next year. It's just amazing the lifelong friendships that come out of what we do. And I probably didn't remember you because for the past from mile 17 to when I quit, I was thinking about my excuses for quitting. So everybody else, I was just tuned out of. I knew I wasn't ready. And like I said, when the high jump winner passed me in her ski suit, I knew it was time to drop. And
Yeah.
no, not taken away from her. She huffed it out and she finished, but it was just amazing seeing ski jumpsuit out there.
Oh, I completely agree, and that's like crazy. But it's like I guess what's funny about this is it sounds like you're in a similar kind of situation as I am. Like, my running has not been great lately, and I know we've not even really gotten into your running, but I think I'd be remiss to ask why. What are you going through? Are you just like not enjoying it? Are you like in a funk? Are you just like having trouble getting motivated? Like what's going on with you?
Well, that's an interesting question because thought that came to my mind is you probably know this in our run community. There's probably more than two types of people, but generally there's two types of people. People that running defines who they are, and if they don't run, they don't have anything. And
Hmm.
then the other is people who run for the love of it, do it to hang around people and be with people. And if you don't run, that doesn't change that. But for me, I started out in a guy wanted me to run a half marathon, and I thought that was stupid. And I found a training program online to run a 10-minute pace. And day one was run walk for 20 minutes. So that started everything. Got on trails. A guy down here in the hospital told me about trails, and I went out there the first day, hated it, and then for the next 3 days, it just kept coming back to my memory. The exciting, taking me back to my childhood days, running through the woods, and fell in love with it. And from there, I became an ultra sign up junkie. I was signing up for everything. I was running almost every weekend, uh, spaced out a little bit, of course, but I was doing a lot of stuff, and a lot of friends kept telling me, and if you look at my ultra sign up, I may have 80 to 100 results. It's because those first 5 years, I ran everything. I ran the first three stage races, and I was a douchebag to Ryan, not stage races. I'm sorry, Savage Golf, and I was a douchebag to Ryan. I like to, I like to joke with people, and sometimes I don't realize how much of a douche I can sound like, but it's intentional to break the ice to tell people. And we were at the Savage Golf. I looked down at Ryan, and Ryan had on these minimalistic New Balance shoes that had some kind of plastic coating on the arch part. And I looked at him and I said, "Are you wearing those?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Man, you're gonna wish you didn't." And I didn't think nothing about it. Then years later, I meet Ryan, and I'm on the podcast with him. And the first thing he brings up was the first time we met, and I had no clue. And to this day, I feel bad for that, but he remembered it. He remembered we were great friends. So anyway, I ran a lot of stuff, and I just did a lot. 50 Ks everywhere. Got the 100-mile bug. Did that. When I went into the hospital in 2016 for an undiagnosed condition, that's when everything slowed down. Was running. I was in my peak shape in 2016, and I come down with something called polymyalgia rheumatica and temporal arteritis or giant cell arteritis, and it sidelined me completely. Ended up going in the hospital, undiagnosed, had a cancer doc, a infectious disease doc, another doc, and then after 8 days undiagnosed, a rheumatologist figured out what it was. But ever since then, I was on 3 years of high doses of steroids, and even though I kept running, everything started to tank. As
Hmm.
the weight comes on from the steroids, get off the steroids, do another 100. Well, I do Ball State, and I attempt BFC a couple more times and could not finish it. get into another 100 miler, finish it, but I just see my running going downhill. And I started building custom bass guitars, and that kind of took up some of my desire and want to get out on the roads and on the trails. But so what am I going through? I'm telling you, when you, and I think Ryan, he can talk about this too, and evidently you can too. We just get in those funks sometime where we just don't want to get out there and go. I've been running 1 day a week. Recently, I was in Germany last week. I ran 1 day while I was there. This week, I've ran one time, and I was going to go today for the podcast, but it's got delay in there, and it's a funk. And I made a post on Facebook. I know you some that the depressions are trying to get on me. I need to run with people. I'm the kind of person who I need to be with people.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be on the roads with people, fellowship and getting to know them. And it's just not been happening lately. And it does have me in a funk. And I wonder how many people out there are, and when I posted that, I mean, I'm getting messages and private messages, hey man, let's go run, let's get together. And again, that is the awesomeness of the running and trail community is when you get in a funk, there's plenty of people ready to make fun of you and get you out of it. And I'm thankful for those kind of people. So I mean, it's kind of high level review of my running. I have done a lot. I don't think my running days are over, at least I hope not. But I need to get out of this funk. I need some motivation to get back out there. And if you got the answer, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer. I think, I've made 3 videos talking about me being in a funk, and I've yet to post a single one of them because, it's like, it is just a lot to unpack. Like I kind of did what you did, but not at the scale that you have. I mean, I did a whole bunch of running on the front end. My first 3 ultras were Yamacross, Strolling Gym, and the Damn Yeti 50 miler. And I did them all a month apart from each other. So
That
30
is
miles,
not
40
easy.
miles, 50 miles, right? And then I went for the 100 miler. And I think that actually is what it put me in the funk that I am, because I've had 3 consecutive DNFs at the same race. And you get to a point where you just get in your head, like it becomes more of a chore and a job trying to get yourself up to do these races. And so, when I did Savage Golf, well, I signed up for Mountain Mist because I'd always wanted to run Mountain Mist. And I was in good enough shape to finish that race. I mean, wasn't running a lot, but I was, my base was still there and I was good enough to do it. But then I had my chafing and I dropped. But then, like at the Savage Golf, I did that. I did the 25K with Ryan, and that just about killed me. And I
It,
wasn't ready for that race at all, even for the 25K. That course, and I have hiked out there and backpacked out there and everything, but it's insane how steep everything is. And then what's crazy is you get done and you're only did like 2,700 feet of elevation gain, but it feels like you probably went about 6 or 7 because of just the bouldering that you're doing and all, going through the rocks and all that
would
kind
it
of stuff.
take you 3.5, 4 hours to finish?
Took me 4 hours and 8 minutes.
4 hours and 8 minutes. To tell you what kind of shape I was in, I think my best Savage Golf, and I wasn't even in the best shape of my life, was around 6:14, and that's the full marathon. People who say that is not an ultra, they're idiots.
Yeah.
That is as that's harder than most 50Ks I've ran, but it is amazing. It is amazing when you get out there and you see things uh, that you don't see in normal races. The boulder hopping will break anybody. That last, I was listening to Adventure Jogger on that run yesterday, and the young lady was talking about the climbs and then the final climb when you're going out and it's just that slick rock, that rock that slides all the way down. But a 25K like that is no joke. And I'm so thankful to John Harden uh, for taking over that race and going to keep it alive. It is Savage Gulf is an amazing gym that I wish more people would go sign up and run.
And what's interesting is Ryan and I. So I originally signed up for the marathon, and I got there and I realized before I even started that, if I probably had no business being out there for the marathon. And so I lined up with Ryan, and Ryan's like, I was like, you're doing the marathon, right? And he said, actually, I'm dropping down to the 25K. And so I made the decision then I was going to drop down, and I talked to John and everything. And so, I ran 11 of the 15 miles with Ryan Pluckelman. And, it is crazy how him and I talked about what you just said about how, why isn't more people running this course? And Ryan said, he said, I don't get it. He said, why isn't more people out here right now? He said, this is crazy that we have such a few amount of people running this course. And I looked at him and I said, Ryan, I said, this course is no flipping joke. I said, not anybody can get out here and maneuver through this course and A, not break an ankle, B, not time out, or C, just lose the will to finish because it's just so damn hard. I mean, shit, that last climb, I bet you I stopped 2 or 3 times going up it because it never ended. And I know you've been there, that climb. And, and I got around the corner and was going up toward the campsite there. And, Jack Sales was up at the table there giving aid. And I said, I had my marathon bib on, and I said, obviously, I'm not we started with the marathon people, and I said, obviously, I dropped down, and he started laughing. I said, because the person in first place ain't going to be moving like I am. And just a few minutes after I said that, Nathan Holland shot past me, and he ran the marathon 2 minutes faster than I ran the 25K.
It Nathan Hollis. So we've become really. He's one of those people we've become really close to. So when we go to Tennessee, we usually go spend the weekend with him and his family. But we call him Shaggy because there's a picture of him in I think it's like a green shirt and brown pants at a swing, and I don't know if it's Scott Bell or Joe B. Williams found a picture of Shaggy from Scooby Doo and put them side by side, and it's hilarious. But Nathan, again, to do that, my first mountain mist, David Riddle literally could have ran the course twice and beat me. Savage Gulf, to tell you how hard it is, well, the first year there was 2 aid stations on that course. The Rangers didn't know what they were doing. I had a 100-ounce Camelback bladder because I'm an ultra runner, and didn't realize it had a hole in it, and I had Gatorade. So it looked like I'd started my period on the back of my legs because everything was red, my socks and everything. I ran out, and at the bottom of that climb, a ranger gave me some water. I was dying. And if I'm not mistaken, the second aid station was at the top of that climb. And then you still have 3 miles to go of that never-ending flat trail. Again, and here's the thing, Jason, is you have thousands of people signing up for the Barkley Fall Classic. And if you've never ran that, there's nothing like it. And Savage Gulf, so much more beautiful, so much more amazing. And you have 100 people sign up. Barkley Fall Classic, incredibly hard, really cool because I guess the Barkley effect of it. But you have thousands of people, 1,000 people on the wait list. I can since he's gone to the lottery, I've not gotten in on the initial picks. I always come in at towards the end or something like that. So it is amazing, the types of races that sell out, the types that don't. But the difficulty level, and maybe some of your listeners and you have discovered this, is that sometimes we end up craving the misery after a race. Sometimes I find myself missing that because after every race, I remember after my first 50K, I went into the bathroom and I just started bawling. Uh, After my first 100 miler, I was sitting there bawling at Thunder Rock 100 miler. After Pinhoti, I'm bawling. After Ball State, I hurt too bad to cry. But we go through all that suffering and we think, well, I'm not signing up for any more races. I'm going to quit doing this. And then 2 or 3 later, we get to missing the difficulty. And not staying on Savage Gulf, but that's one of those races that once you get to thinking on it afterwards, you're going to miss it.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go back this year. I was eating schnitzel in Germany. So
Well, the good news is that course, Harden's got it, so it's not like it's going to go away. And
that dude
so,
is amazing. Is he not good looking?
man,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
you
I
don't even
hope
want to
my wife,
you don't even want to stand close to him.
no, well, I hope my wife never sees him, especially without a shirt on. He's just, because if she ever expects me to look like that, she's going to be disappointed. He's a good looking man.
He is, and he's a hell of an athlete too, to boot.
I,
So it's like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
he doesn't suck.
yeah, he doesn't suck. He's not like me with my middle of the back of the pack finish. He's at the front. He's bringing it home. So what's cool about you talked about all these things that you've done, and what's interesting is before we got started, I was talking about how I've heard your name so much, how did you get, was it just running all the races that got you so active in the running community, or how did you become so engaged to where you know you're kind of like the Dyes, right? David and Shannon Dye. Everybody, you say David and Shannon Dye, everybody knows them, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and you say Cary Long, and people know who you are, right? Um, you know, was it, your involvement in the community, did it come from just running all the races, or was it just more of just, like you said, getting in there and building that relationship with people, and just kind of just growing and just trying to just engage and become as involved as you possibly can with all these races and all these people?
Well, it's it's really three things, and if I can remember all three that I just thought in my head. First one is running races. I mean, that's how you meet people. But my goal is relational. I like to build relationships. So a part of the way I do that is with humor. So I started writing race reports, and so my if you anybody goes to Google and types in HotWing Runner blogger or just HotWing Runner, you'll see my race reports. So I started writing race reports. In 2012, the first one was the first stage races that I had ran up there with Chris and Randy Wharton, who I adore. But what I did is I started realizing the funny things that happen on the trails, the men and women stuff that we do. So I started talking about in the race reports, people on the trails, talking about the funny stuff that would happen. I know I start giving these people nicknames and stuff. And so I would be sitting there, and all of a sudden, I'm getting a few reads, and then I'd get a message from these people I never met, and they would say, "Hey, I'm that person. I'm Pigtail Penny. I'm the White Wiper, which is Jeff Deaton. I'm Bumblebee, or I'm trying to. Oh, Blonde Betty was Melanie Greenway. So all these people started realizing I was talking about them, and another part of that race relational stuff is well, how do you initially break the ice with people? If I'm always coming talking about statistics and technical crap, I mean, that's just, who cares? Uh, Nobody, I mean, certain people care about that, but people like people that can be relatable to. So what I do is I try to use humor to build a relationship. So there are some people who, this one guy, he told me, he said, I didn't like you when I first saw you because I thought nobody can be that stupid. And then he said, I realized that that it's in. He said, I realized that you're not. And I told him, I said, I play an idiot, but I'm not an idiot. There's a method to what I do. And in reality, it is to build relationships. Now, sometimes I can say something that can, 99 out of 100 comments that I make to people on the trails or in the woods turns out to friendships, and people laugh and have a good time. That's the thing. Get people to laugh and have a good time, and they remember you. There's only been one time where I tried engaging where somebody somebody they got upset and they just became real douchey, and there's a whole story behind that. The dude, I mean, wrote a race report on it, and man, I called him out on that race report, not even knowing, um, and gave some advice to his girlfriend on there. Well, he ends up reading it, and I didn't even reference where he was from, so people couldn't put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But he did, and he called me out on it. He exposed himself on a run page, said, "I'm the guy that Cary's talking about." I mean, people were hammering him. He just was. I was just trying to talk to him, and I wasn't even being a smart, but like I was to Ryan, and just kind of a real. So again, 99 out of 100 interactions on the trail, great. Every now and then you get that one person that's just not cool, just not trail cool. But the method to my madness is just to use humor, use self-deprecation on myself, and some other things that I think people don't realize, and kind of going down a serious path here is creative people. There's high highs and low lows. I think about comedians like these comedians that have killed themselves, committed suicide. Things are funny and all that, but a lot of times people who when there's a lot of laughter there can be a lot of sadness there too, and I don't think people see that. But again, I try to use that to build. So that's how I've gotten known. Wrote race reports, run races. I fart on people, and I talk about it. And it's just those friendships form. I went on a tangent there, and I apologize. But those
No.
friendships form, and I literally every person I hang out with today, people that I go visit, a relationship has formed out on the trails, and I'm talking lifelong friendships now. And I, I thank the Lord for that. There was a time in my life where I was never the person who had a best friend. I always wanted a best friend. You see these guys and girls, and they're always together. They're they're the power team. I never had that, but what I learned and what I saw the Lord bless me with is He blessed me with a bunch of really good friends, and I'm thankful for that, man. I'm thankful. Running has been good for me, uh, just in the relationships that I've built through it.
It's amazing. And I think you hit on something important. Three of, you know, there's a group of me and three other guys that I would have never have known if it hadn't been for running. And it's amazing because you think about, I started running and and when I started running, it was very casual and social, and it was just a half marathon, right? And then you know Will Els, I don't know if you know Will, but Will
I met him.
talked me into running a marathon. I was signed up for a half marathon, and I didn't know the guy from Adam, right? Him and I just messaged back and forth, and I said, I'm not ready for this. And he said, I tell you what, he said, I'll go out with you to the Greenway here and we'll run 20 miles together. And that'll be your last long run before your race. I was like, sure, why not? And so I went out and him and I ran 20 miles together. And I ended up running the rock and roll marathon. Nearly had a heat stroke. My nipple bled.
Oh yeah.
But I finished it. But it goes back to that guy is like a brother to me now. And it's just like I would never have met him. And then my but Garrett, my friend Garrett, and then John Horner. These people are people that I met through running, that if I never would have started running, I never would have met these people, right? And it's like it's amazing what it does for you. You know, it's kind of like a version of therapy, right? To some extent, because you
Oh
get
yeah,
out
it
there with
is.
these people, and you know, you're out for a very long time in the woods with them, and you hash out, you solve world problems, right? You know, and I think it's there's something to that, and I think it's pretty special. And what you said, it's, you know, it's funny, writing a race report is what you see on the trail. A lot of people don't think of it. I'll never forget at Tunnel Hill the first time I saw a woman standing up and peeing.
Is
It
that not mind blowing?
Dude, it blew my mind. I mean, I didn't even know it was possible. Like I was taken back, and I was almost like I was. And you know what was crazy was I ran past her, saw it. You know, you see it. It's real. You know, it's kind of fast. You know, it's like a blur, but you know what you saw. And she passed me like 10 seconds later. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
dude,
oh yeah.
it was like a NASCAR pit stop. I mean,
I saw it at Twisted Ankle, and me and this lady are 10 foot apart, both with our hands on our crotch, peeing, and I was floored. And other ladies need to learn that, because I was running one race in the dark the first year I ran Georgia Jewel, running up in the dark, and I heard something in the woods, and I had my headlight on, and I high beamed over, and I high beamed her Chia Pet. Man, she was sitting there squatting facing me, and lady, learn to stand up like the other lady, but I've seen other ladies do that, and that literally blows my mind.
it blows my
Uh,
mind.
my
It's
wife says she tried it and it made a mess, so she won't do it again.
No, I mean, it's definitely a learned skill. I had learned that John, I think it was John Horner, it was telling me that Zach Miller said he could pee and run at the same time.
Nope, I've tried it, man. He must have a little smoky down there or something. I don't know. I tried it one time and it went everywhere. Now he may be super talented, and maybe I'm not super talented in that aspect, but I've heard about people pissing themselves during the race, not even pulling it out,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yep,
peeing.
just going. Yeah.
I can't do it. I just can't do that.
Well, I mean, I think somebody said that there was a race that Camille used the bathroom on herself because she didn't want to stop. She was trying to break some sort of record, and
Okay.
and
If
she
I'm
went.
gonna win, if I'm gonna win, man, I'll boo boo the fool out of myself if I'm gonna win a good race. But I'm probably never gonna win. So it's
You can
just
stop.
it's just not gonna happen.
That's not going to happen. So, out of all the things that you've done running wise, what in your mind, and I know this is probably going to be hard to answer, but I want to ask it anyway. Out of all the things you've accomplished, what in your mind is the most meaningful and the most special? Because you've done a lot. I mean, you've done 100 milers. You know, you've did Vol State. I mean, you've accomplished a ton of things. What really stands out to you is like what's the, what you know what's what is that one thing, or is there one thing?
Okay, so that could be answered two ways. So one of them, what race, and then the other thing is just on the trail. So probably the race that stands out to me, it's one of two things, and I think it's my highest blog reads is uh my first Barkley Fall Classic, where I finished the 50K. I think it's got over 10,000 reads on it now. But I think the greatest in my mind is something that I thought about every day for probably 3 years, was Vol State. Every ultra runner out there, every ultra runner should go do Vol State. You finishing Vol State, completing Vol State, you will realize that problems on your job, other problems in your life, aren't really problems. you'll realize that you can do anything. You can accomplish anything when you're running that race in July, and you go lay down, and and you can't sleep for 3 days, you can't eat for 3 days, but somehow when you lay down for a couple hours and then you start back and you can run, it will blow your mind. And then the late Dwayne Satterfield, one of the great runners in our time, he told me, he said, by day 3, your body's like, okay, we're going to keep doing this. All right, let's do it. And that's about what it was. After day 3, everything seemed to change. But every day, not even every day, every few hours of a section is like a new race. It's a new experience. Every step is new. You're having to figure out where you're planning. Your plan goes out the door, and you're looking at, okay, how do I get to this next town? How do I get from here to that next proposed road angel station where I can sit down? And it becomes this journey, this amazing journey when you're in there in the middle of the night on top of Mont Eagle, 2 o'clock in the morning, reading Facebook posts of people cheering you on, and you're bawling your eyes out. It's something that stuck with me like nothing else. The friendships that I made during Vol State, me and um, Anastasia Rolek and Julie A. Stars, we were together probably 100 miles back and forth together and stuff like that, and just developed an amazing friendship with them. That stood out to me probably more than any race. Barclay Fall Classic, uh, for me, finishing it was about like finishing a 100 miler. It was great, but the greatest just running experience, I would have to say, uh, running journey, let me say that, would be the Grand Canyon with my Trail Donkey brothers, and us doing rim to rim to rim. Uh, the experience, the time with a group of people that care about you and that you care about, that's priceless. It's priceless.
Hmm.
Running in general, the things that stand out to me is there's a few people around here that I run with a lot, male and females, and it's the time on the roads with them. It's when me and David Thurman, or me and Eric Fritz, uh, if I start calling names, I'll get in trouble. And a few of the other ladies, when we get on these country roads, and we're just out there. We're just out there experiencing life. We're experiencing the same turmoil, the same hardship, whatever. Somebody's feeling better than the other, and we pull each other along. Um, for me, it's not even about the running anymore. It's about being out there with the people. I just so there you have three aspects that have meant the world to me, and it really two of them revolve around being with other people, and the other one was that self journey on Vol State, where I spent so much time by myself, and I realized I can do anything.
Hmm.
And that's what I think ultra running does for us. People don't Our friends don't understand when we run a 50K. It doesn't make sense to them. 100 miler blows their mind. They can't even comprehend 314 miles. And but it's what we're doing is we're doing the impossible.
Hmm.
In our community, it's not impossible, but to everybody on our workplace, people we meet in day-to-day life, running a 50K, running an ultra, that's the impossible. So we do the impossible. Um, and we got to figure out how to if I never run again, that's fine. But I want to get that motivation back. You said that a lot of people know me. I love that. I, I ain't gonna lie, I love that. I love the fact that I have the potential to have an impact on so many people. And so here's the reason why I say that I love that. It's not for the fact of people know me. It's a fact of, okay, these people know me. And what I've learned is through my Facebook post, through some of the things that I post, is I get a lot of private messages from people. So I get a lot of private messages from people who are going through real world problems, real life problems, things that's unbearable to face. So because of the way I am, because you know who I am. If you know me, you know I'm a Christian. You know I used to lead worship in church, and you know I'm also the guy that makes fart jokes on Facebook. But people feel comfortable with me. They feel like they can talk to me. So that in all is the greatest when people can reach out to me and say, I'm going through a divorce. My spouse is unfaithful to me. I have cancer. My kids are on drugs. Um, I'm 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 dealing. There's some things I can't even say. They're just so. It will blow your mind what people go through. Uh, we don't realize everybody that we meet. People are going through something, but some people are really hurting out there. And people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So knowing a lot of people, uh it's it does me well because hopefully I can have an opportunity to speak in your life. And there's a few people out there that know I go through things also that I can reach out to. So yeah, I love that aspect of it. And I'm thankful for trail running and ultra running. And you know, might even get the chance to get to know the inked up runner.
It's funny that it's funny though, because just think that, there were two guys running a race and your name came up, and that has to show you the impact that you have on people. Because, why, you just, I'll be honest with you, in the amount of time that him and I ran together, I can count on one hand how many different people we talked about, and your
Yeah.
name was one of the people that came up. And I think that just goes to show you the impact that you have. But I think, you know, unpacking what all you were just saying was, when you think about Vol State, and I've never done it before, I was talking to Bob Hearn, after he just broke the record this past year, and I said that, the best way you can think about Vol State is it's like a road through hike through Tennessee, right? Because you think about it, if you're through hiking the Appalachian Trail, or you're section hiking a trail, right? You have to plan where your next stop is, what kind of
Yeah.
food you need, where you're going to sleep at, what the weather is going to be like,
Yep.
what the different scenarios are, right? And then the fact that you navigated that and completed it, of course it's special. And it's like, I think Bob talked about how, it was very very, like, just, I don't want to say transcendence, but kind of to the point of,
Yeah. Yeah.
you kind of an outer body experience doing something like that because of just the sheer magnitude of what you're doing. And I'm sure, and I've never done it before, but I'm sure it's similar to if you through hike the Appalachian Trail, when when you get to the end, you're probably just like completely spent with emotional and probably an outer body experience of the fact of what you just accomplished. And then throughout the whole experience of it, I mean, there's a lot to be said um, about that. And I mean, that's super impressive. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people that's ran Ball State, and all of them have kind of said the same thing. Greg Armstrong, Bob
Mhm.
Hearn, talking to you about it. I mean, it's just, everybody seems to say the same thing about it. Now, I don't know if it's for me necessarily. Maybe one day I can,
No, it
take.
is, man. It is. It truly is. Ball State is for every ultra runner out there. You don't know what you can do until you do Ball State. And again, so a guy beat me walking. I ran. A guy walked the entire thing and beat me. I ruptured a tendon in my foot at mile 308. And then I have a 5 mile climb after that. I was going to get to that finish no matter what. It broke my spirit. I'm laying on the side of the road and can't walk, but went on some old people's porch. They brought me a pillow, laid on their porch. They brought me an ace bandage. I wrapped up and I went to hiking. So yeah, look at it. It is for you. You've got that ultra runner mindset. You've got that satisfaction in pain. And again, I don't know why we have that, but I truly think it is for everybody. It's a great way to truly discover that you can do the impossible. Um, it's something I think about. I almost think about every day still. And I ran it in 2018. And so I still think about it almost every day. So
No, I'm
yeah, man.
sure. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you before we wrap things up. I see the guitar behind you. You said you make bass guitars. What is, what's your ties to music? You but you in a band, what do you do with your, music wise?
Well, so I was 19, 20 years old. I think I was probably not turned 20. And there was this girl, she was hot, cheerleader down in a little podunk town called Holly Pond, Alabama. And I wanted to sing her a song. Alabama's forever is as far as I go. So I learned how to play the piano and never sang the song to her, but I learned how to play the piano. And in church, I just got involved in music, became a worship leader in church, was in a black church. Me and my wife were in a black church for 10 years, leading worship. Been in a few churches since then. And just now my son is a musician, plays bass guitar. And I just had this dream, okay, I'd like to build a bass guitar. And I've built three now. And this third one is for a customer. And I got a fourth one for a customer. So music is something else that has been a huge part of my life. And if you'll notice, there's a lot of runners who are musicians, a lot of runners. And it's been another amazing thing in my life. And the two are uh, the I've done two effectively together, two hobbies that I've done together. And but I love the fact that so many people are musicians. Or Joby Williams. If anybody doesn't know Joby Williams, I need to find his site. But what he did, something he tied music and running together. And so he had these various runners pick out their favorite album
Mm-hmm.
and then their favorite race. And he did a photo shoot of that album and that race and them in two different types of environments, of clothes, working environment and their running clothes, or whatever. And it's amazing. It is amazing the tie between music and so how many people out on the trails or on the road always have a song in their mind, on their head, continuously playing. And God forbid you get Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball stuck in your head on a
Mm-hmm.
long run. So yeah, music and running go well together. But yeah, I'm sitting here looking at my my latest creation that hopefully is going to go to its new owner on Sunday.
That's awesome. Yeah, Joby, I don't know Joby. I know his photos. I know those photos in particular. They are amazing. And I've reached out to him for an interview, hadn't never got a response. So I figured he's just not an interview guy, but I know he is amazing. I know he's an amazing photographer, an amazing runner, and just an amazing person. Like I said, I've never got to meet him, but I've just heard just tremendous things about him. And I think the funny thing about music is we have just rediscovered vinyl records and bought a record player. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep, got them.
Yeah. And so we we've been building up our collection, and we just got our Queen vinyl in today. That after this interview's over, we're gonna go and listen to that. So, but I'm a huge music buff too, and when you know, I already knew that you'd made guitars because I'd seen your posts about them and stuff, and so I figured you had a strong tie to music. And there's just something about music. I've seen probably 100 concerts. Anybody from Pink Floyd to the Wu-Tang Clan, I've seen it all, and it is just music is very impactful, and it's impactful for me, and to me, music is like ultra running. It can be therapy to some extent.
It can set your pace. Even
Oh,
during 100 milers, I can tell my pace changes with the song going through my head. And when it gets on love song time, man, you know I'm going slow at that point.
yeah. The best advice I ever heard was to mix up your playlist. Don't pick a bunch of fast music. So I will intentionally put in on have Pantera's Cowboys from Hell, and then afterwards I will have Christopher Cross's theme from Arthur right afterwards, just to just to break it down.
Well,
So
Ron Plockerman loves him some crap. Oh, what a fool
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
What's that dude's name? I just forgot it.
Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald. Yeah, boy. Me, him, and Joby got lost on Signal Mountain one day, like way lost. And we sang a lot of Michael McDonald.
Yeah, we've got the Doobie Brothers Volume 1 and 2 on vinyl, so know all about them. My wife loves Michael McDonald, so
Yeah,
um,
he's got a weird voice. I'm a Toto fan and Alabama country music. That's the stuff, man.
that's the stuff.
But I
Well,
don't have no Wu-Tang Clan, and
dude, when I'm the type of person. I don't, you know I have such a huge range of stuff that I listen to. And I've been fortunate to see so many great artists like Page and Plant, and just everybody you could possibly think of. I've seen. I've seen Jewel when she still had bad teeth. So I mean, I got, I paid $10 to see her. So I mean, I've gotten to see so many great people and have been just very fortunate. And it's music is special, and and I know that you have a tie to music there, so I had to ask. So before I let you go, what is your favorite song ever, all time? Cary
oh
Long
man,
favorite song?
probably I would say it would be a love song, and it would probably be. I mean, that's tough. Probably the my alarm clock every morning, Almost Paradise. So yeah, I
Almost.
kind of like the love songs. Yeah,
Oh
that's
boy,
kind of
you are
weird.
cheesy.
Yeah.
I've not heard Almost Paradise in for years.
I hear it every morning. So what happens is the alarm clock. I don't want it to jolt me. I want something that's going to wake me up smoothly, and it starts in with those strings. And as soon as those
Mhm.
strings start coming in, so I get in the shower singing "Almost Paradise" every
That's
morning. Good stuff.
fantastic. True story. Before we wrap it up, it's just a funny story talking about things that wake you up. I had set the alarm on my phone, and I had screwed up the song that was going to wake us up. So me and my wife are sleeping, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, my phone goes off, and it's the theme from The Walking Dead, and my wife about falls out of the bed.
Uh, yeah, that would cause a mess in my bed.
Dude, it scared the shit out of her. It was quite
Yeah,
funny.
that's what would happen in my bed.
We talk about it all the time. But anyway, well, man, this has been a good time. Like this has been like it has been so much fun, and just talking about running and what running means to to you, and what it's done for you, and what the impact you've had on the community, and that two guys running on a trail on Saturday morning was talking about Cary Long.
Well, I appreciate that, and Ryan is somebody who has a special place in my heart. Me and him have become good friends over the years, and even though I'm in a funk, even if I'm not running, it's something I still think about every day, a lot of times during the day. So yeah, it has had an impact, and I appreciate you reaching out to me. I think we've been friends on Facebook for a little while, so uh, appreciate you putting a face to the name, and again, I just Ron's a special guy, man. He's a special guy, and I appreciate the relationship that he and I have built. And man, thanks for talking about me. And I'm glad it wasn't bad.
No, it was all good stuff. Well, that's gonna wrap up today's interview with Cary. As always, there will be a video and audio version of this. Podcast is now on, like I said, Apple Podcasts, Google, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, all those. And then, of course, it will be on YouTube. So that's it for this episode, and I will see you on the trail.